Love where you live and play with Lindsay Management. Affordable apartments and golf memberships at 9 and 18-hole courses. Buying or selling? Trust Lindsay and Associates. Serving the community for over 50 years. Lindsay, #1 in apartments, golf, and real estate.
Want to run faster, jump higher, move with more power? The Sports Recovery and Development Program at Bridges Therapy Group builds speed, strength, agility, and endurance while correcting movement issues that can cause injury. Give your athlete the edge. Schedule an assessment today at srdathlete.com. Bryan Pratt and Tre Thompson join me as we get ready for 7A West play. Plus, Fayetteville Bulldog head coach Jessica Phelan joins me to talk about her volleyball team this season. It is Thursday, September 25th, and this is Varsity Vibe Today. Welcome into Varsity Vibe Today on this Thursday. I'm your host, Alyssa Orange. Thank you so much for joining us. We got a lot to talk about today, so let's get to it. This is our Lewis Automotive opening drive. The fall kickoff event happening now at the Lewis Automotive Group. Unbeatable prices at special financing. Your next vehicle is ready for you at one of their 3 locations in Fayetteville, Springdale, and Farmington. Football coming a day early in Central Arkansas tonight. North Little Rock and Pulaski Academy kicking off 7A Central action. Right now, these are 2 teams still trying to get something going. Pulaski Academy 0-3 to start the season with losses to Robinson, West Memphis, and Highland Park. North Little Rock, who has head coach Brad Bolding back leading the Wildcats, are 1-2 with their only win coming against Little Rock Catholic last week. North Little Rock, they didn't win a game last season. Pulaski ended last year 10-3, so this should be a fun one tonight under the Thursday night lights in the capital city. In Northwest Arkansas, 7A action is going to be something else. I tell you, coaches that I've talked to around the conference, it's stacked, it's talented, and it's really anyone's game every Friday night. Our game of the week going to take us to Bentonville West. They're hosting the Fayetteville Bulldogs. The Wolverines coming off a bye this week. The Purple Dogs, their first loss of the season, suffered last week against Texas High. Before kickoff, I was able to catch up with head coach Bryan Pratt and quarterback Tre Thompson as they get ready for this showdown. Coach, when you look at the first 3 games of the season, I feel like you guys have really made a statement with the way that you've played and competed.
Yeah, we talked about this being a revenge tour. You know, last year it didn't start out very good for us, and we were 0-6, and we had a lot of regrets. And so we went into offseason really focusing on that and trying to get us to where we need to be at. And, you know, obviously our kids are excited about the season. We work really hard in the offseason, but then we come out and we play with the intensity that I think shocked a lot of people other than us, is the way that we played. Our physicality on defense as well as explosive as we were on offense. And, you know, for us that watched it every day in off season or in the summer, it was just kind of expected. And, you know, so we like where we're at right now, but just like we talked to our kids last year when we were 0-3 at this time, that it really had no strength on the playoffs or where the seeding rose in. So these games are the ones that matter. And so same thing this year, you know, we're 2-1, we played well, but it still has no bearing on the playoffs and the seeding. And so we got to make sure we take care of business now.
Hey, Tre, going back to that Greenwood game, we don't have to dwell on it much, but what do you think that really taught you about the team and the team that you guys can be this season?
What it taught me about the team is that we're going to compete no matter what. We went against Greenwood. We went against them last year. We lost really bad last year, but this year we went in with a different mindset, and it really showed me how the team is going to compete and how we're going to fight through adversity no matter what the score is or who we're playing against.
And how good was it to see the confidence from that team to go to Greenwood and play the way that you did, have opportunities at the end of that game to win that game and just show you guys really, you know, what you're all about?
Yeah, it just showed us the trajectory of the season. It kind of set the tone for the rest of the season. You know, we lost, but it really lit a fire in us to, you know, start hard the next 2 games, and then hopefully we can keep that going into the conference play.
I was going to follow that up with kind of what you just said there. How much did that momentum, even though it was a loss, shift into those next 2 games and give you guys the confidence to play the way you did?
Though that loss, like, it really hurt our team. You know, we were pretty upset and pretty mad about it. So we decided that we weren't going to let other people decide our fate. We weren't going to let the the rest or the other team decide if we were going to win or lose. We were going to go take the win. It's basically what we kind of said is go take the win. And so we're going to keep that going into the next few games.
Yeah, Coach, did you feel maybe that in the locker room, that there was just that extra drive, the way they played and performed, the confidence that game showed this team that they could hang with anybody?
Well, I think it was, I think we all believed it, and then when it started happening, I think it fed a little bit into the way that we played the rest of that game. And then obviously going into the next week of practice, you could kind of tell our kids were they had a little something to prove, a little chip on the shoulder, and we go into Cabot and just played lights out early and pulled our starters at halftime and was still able to compete with our JV. So that's fun to see our young guys be able to come in and make plays and play with another 7-8 teams varsity. So we're excited about that. And then, we played Muskogee and the same thing. Still some things that we need to clean up, and that's kind of what we worked on in the bye week, is just focusing on us and the fundamentals of what it takes for us to be at the level that we want to play at. And so, then we come into this week, and obviously it's a huge week for us. Fayetteville is a familiar foe and one that we've went back and forth with, and Coach Dickin was on our staff for a while, and he's a great friend of mine. So we're excited about the opportunity to get the Purple Dogs coming in here to Bentonville West, and hopefully we have a little something to prove.
Yeah, I was curious about this Fayetteville game because it's really a statement to start 7A West competition. If I had to ask you, Coach, in order to beat Fayetteville, your team has to do what? How would you answer that?
I think there's a couple of things that I always go into a game saying that's a deal breaker on it, and that's a turnover margin, and that's what we've been really good at in the first few games. I think turnovers and big plays are going to win the game. Whoever can, make the big plays, because we're both very explosive on offense, but I also got to be able to not turn the football over. And, that's my keys to the game. It's the same one that I talk to these guys about all the time. We have what's called game changers. I make a cut up of 5 plays throughout the game every week of our game changer plays. And, I was told once that the whole game is going to come down to 5 plays. And unfortunately, you don't know which 5 those are. And so we talk to our kids about being game changers and making sure that you're taking advantage of every opportunity you get. And so we want to be game changers on Friday, and hopefully we'll play well and make it a great 7A opening.
Tre, you in this offense specifically has done so much to set you guys up for success to head into conference play. How excited are you for Friday night?
I'm super excited because they got a good team. I think it's going to be a good matchup. We got a good team too, so I think it'll be a great game to watch.
Bray Cook and I breaking down that game as well as other games around the 7A West on our Friday Varsity Vibe Today episode. So make sure to stick around tomorrow and listen to that one. Coming up after the break, we catch up with Fayetteville Volleyball head coach Jessica Phelan.
If you're an athlete that wants to improve your game, maybe improve your 40, jump higher, have better agility, Bridges Therapy Group's Sport Recovery and Development Program can help. They've been helping student athletes reach their highest potential for quite a while now. They've got a team that includes physical therapists, athletic trainers, personal trainers, and occupational therapists. And together, they design individual plans to build speed, explosive power, agility, strength, and endurance. Whether your athlete's returning from rehab or working for a competitive edge, SRD provides the training and guidance to help them succeed. Schedule your athlete's assessment today at srdathlete.com.
Quick Turf is the go-to team for building championship-level sports facilities for public schools, private schools, and the entire school district. They also install beautiful backyard putting greens for homeowners. Known for lifelike, eco-friendly turf, Quick Turf handles everything from design and lighting to drainage and final landscaping. Their all-in-one approach delivers high-performance surfaces for athletes and low-maintenance greens that last for years. With preventative maintenance programs, they keep every field and green looking game day ready. Schedule a free consultation today at quickturf.com. That's QIKturf.com.
Matt Lewis with Lewis Automotive Group, excited to announce our trade-in, trade-up event. During this event, you get thousands extra for your trade value. Plus, it's all backed by the Lewis Guarantee. Double the factory warranty. That's a 10-year, 120,000-mile powertrain. Plus, you get 1 year worth of maintenance on us. This event's only going on at Lewis Automotive Group and is at all of our locations in Fayetteville, Springdale, and Farmington.
Could a little extra support help your child shine even brighter? Bridges Therapy Group empowers kids to live their best life with expert pediatric therapy services tailored to their needs. Their team offers occupational therapy, speech therapy, and physical therapy, guiding families from the first evaluation to every milestone along the way. Give your child the tools to succeed and shine. Visit btgpeds.com to learn more and schedule your appointment today. That's btgpeds.com.
Love where you live and play with Lindsay Management. Enjoy affordable apartments with community amenities like fitness centers and resort-style pools at select locations. Golf memberships are also available at beautiful 9 and 18-hole courses. Buying or selling a home, commercial, or investment property? Trust Lindsay and Associates, serving the community and bringing great neighbors together for over 50 years. Lindsay, #1 in apartments, golf, and real estate.
Jessica Phelan has led the Fayetteville Volleyball program for 19 seasons. She has 8 state championships to her name, and the program itself, one of the most successful in the state of Arkansas. It is another big year in 2025 as they battle to try to get back to the state tournament in Hot Springs, able to catch up with head coach Jessica Phelan about how she's feeling about her team with about a month left before tournament play. You dropped the match to Bentonville. But before then, just playing really good volleyball right now. What do you like the most about your team?
I think that they're kind of they've showed some grit here. We've been able to go on the road and maintain composure and kind of gut out some wins early. And I think that, there's still a group that can come together, and we still have like quite a bit of volleyball ahead of us. But I think that from a mentality standpoint, they've been coming to practice kind of with the mentality that you need, like to get a little bit better every day. And they've had good energy and don't seem to care who gets the credit. They just kind of keep grinding. So I like that about them a lot.
What do you think they learned about themselves in that Bentonville match, even though it didn't go the way that you guys wanted it to? Still a tough, hard battle there.
Yeah, I think that, we played really hard. It was a tough environment. They had a big student section. And I think that, from the extent that we can learn from that loss, I think that, you leave that knowing, Bentonville's a really good team. They're a really good serving team, really great defensively. And so they make you earn your points. And so I think, we walk out of there knowing a little bit more about ourselves, and that can be a win too in a long season. So
when you look at the teams that you've put in the past, what do you think that this team, what maybe stands out to you about this team than those you've had in years past?
I think that this is a group right now that has kind of a mix, right? Like we've got some young kids and some older kids with more experience. And so the kind of the meshing of that group together, I think, is kind of unique, and that we've got some young talent. We've got some kids that have been there for a couple of years, and just seeing them work together and figure things out has been pretty cool.
One thing I talked to Piper Beatty about earlier before the season started was how she felt like last year she was kind of just learning the ropes and kind of getting herself acclimated. This year she felt like she's like, okay, this is my team. What have you seen from her from a leadership standpoint this year?
Yeah, I think that when you compare this year to last year, we're just like a little bit further down the road in terms of getting to know each other. We had, in terms of our offense, we run a 6-2 with Piper and a girl named Molly Miller. And so, last year it was kind of like learning those connections with the hitters kind of on the fly and each other. And this year, now that they've played together for a year, it just feels a little smoother, a little more confident, and kind of a little bit more on the same page. So kind of that starting point's a good place to be.
Your program is no stranger to pressure and what it takes to win a state title.
Yeah.
But do you guys feel that every single time you head into a match, knowing that people circle Fayetteville when they're on the schedule?
100%. I think that, that pressure is a privilege. We are going to get a lot of people's best shot. They will come ready to go. And I think that makes you better in the long run. I think that, you can't take nights off in terms of like pressure in terms of your performance. And so I think that, that's good for us in the long run. I think that tradition, it makes the expectation, like you don't have to communicate it so much as a coach is in terms of player led. I think that, they want to be able to, in their season in Hot Springs, like the teams before them. And that's kind of just like an unspoken goal almost at this point. So, they want to get back there. They're hungry to get back there. And that being said, there's a lot of really good teams across the state. And we know we'll have some challenges ahead. And what we can control is the one day at a time. And so that's kind of the mentality at this point.
That is going to do it for Varsity Vibe today. Thank you so much for listening in. Of course, we want to let you know, if you don't follow us on social media, all of our platforms, all the content there for you to follow along with, subscribe to our podcast and subscribe to the YouTube channel as well. And if you haven't, sign up for the newsletter, varsityvibearkansas.com. Sign up there with your email and you'll get our newsletter in your inbox twice a week. A special shout out to our sponsors, Lindsay, Lewis Automotive, Bridges Therapy Group, and Quick Turf. I'll see you tomorrow.